talking with Chris Rojas, and it's an important time for this young man making the transition from the amateur ranks to the professionals. I know you're beaming with excitement.
Yeah, that's right, man. This is my first professional fight. Had 10 amateur fights, so I'm really ready to make this pro debut. It's been a long time coming.
That was 10 amateur MMA bouts?
Yes.
And then did you do any smokers, any kickboxing bouts with that mixed in?
4 kickboxing bouts and 1 boxing bout. I'm actually coming off my most recent fight is my first boxing fight in July.
So how do you feel now? Can you remember how you felt first getting on these mats, coming in here? How do you feel now as a martial artist?
I feel a lot more complete, a lot more well-rounded everywhere as a wrestler, striker, grappler. Everywhere the fight goes, I feel comfortable. So no matter what's going to happen in this fight, I'm going to be ready for whatever this guy brings to the table.
In September 28th, going out to Kansas City, talk to me about what the process was finding this first professional bout.
It was actually a tough one. I got 2 offers and 2 guys turned me down, and then the third one they asked if I wanted to fight the guy I'm fighting now, and we both agreed, and that was it.
Hitting the road, you've done that as an amateur. You think it's going to feel different being that villain, that on the road guy, different as your pro debut?
Oh no, man, I've been a villain, way bigger villain out in Las Vegas. So this is going to be nothing. There's not really no bad blood, no beef. I don't even know the guy I'm fighting really, besides like watching film on him.
And what have you learned?
He's a wrestler, likes to throw a lot of wide overhands and hooks, leaping hooks.
Not much unlike yourself.
Yeah, I have a lot more variety of skills and talent set, if you will.
Seth the Beta told me after that last amateur fight, man, we've been begging Chris for years to commit to that left hand. You did it. You scored the knockout. It was a clean knockout. What did that mean to you?
It meant the world for me, just because I knew for myself that I could make that happen and I could knock anybody out that I just like really commit to, and like anybody I commit my shots to, I feel like I can hurt. So, and if I do that in this fight, it's going to be the same result.
What kind of process was that? Now, it's taken a few years, as the coach mentioned. What kind of process was that like for you, getting the confidence to really commit to that, to not just jab or hook with your forward hand and shoot for the takedown, but to commit to the power hand?
Something just clicked in my mind. You just got to bite down on that mouthpiece, commit to your shots, and really just fucking chunk that leather at their face.
And how important is the mitt work? We've seen you with a plethora of coaches, and I know you've put a lot of work in those hands. How important has those training sessions been?
Oh, they've been crucial, man. I've put a lot of work the past year into my striking. I put about as much work in as like some pros put in like about 3 years, 4 years, just in the past year alone, just to get to my striking to where it is right now.
And you mentioned Las Vegas, you fought for real MMA quite a bit through this amateur run. What did that travel experience, those bright lights, that Vegas atmosphere do for you to prepare you for what will be ahead of you as a professional?
It was crucial, man. I fought on that card for my second title fight, and it was more pressure than most pros would face in their professional career. So this is just another fight to me, you know. I'm going to go in there, go get the win, secure the bag.
We saw you pick up a title in Clovis. You picked up the real MMA title. What moment will you most remember from your time as an amateur?
Definitely my last fight when I scored the knockout.
And what's the biggest takeaway from training that will stick with you from those amateur days?
You know, man, just the first year of getting in here, getting beat up on these mats when there was no amateur program, when it was just like the old school Jackson's way. Going grinding it out with the pros, sparring with Diego Brandao my first year of training, just sparring with Diego Sanchez my first year of training. There's nobody I'm going to face early on in my professional career that's going to be better than either of those guys.
How do you feel? What was that moment like, realizing that it's time to change the page, turn that page, and move on, and now being a professional, the stakes are raised. You've taken this very seriously so far, but it's a whole nother level and a whole nother game now, jumping back.
Well, I've always realized that in myself, I realized that I could compete with these professionals. It was just a matter of showing my coaches and the people that I could do it with my hands, and I finally showed them the last fight. So I left no doubt in people's mind about my power.
Through this run, do you feel like you've learned a lot about who Chris Rojas is?
Absolutely. I faced a lot of adversity in my amateur career, not only with a heartbreaking split decision loss. I got finished taking fights on short notice that I shouldn't have taken, so that was a real crucial learning point in my amateur career. I fought 5 rounds as an amateur, battled adversity, coming out with my hand raised still. I've gotten the quick finishes. I know I can finish people, so it's been definitely a good amount of experience as an amateur.
And then also through these years, talk to me about learning about your body. You were wrestling, cutting a lot of weight for a long time. You know that at a point you want to go down to bantamweight. Talk to me about learning about what works for you and your body.
I know I can make 135. I've done it twice before, and like you said, man, I've been wrestling since high school, so this is just second nature to me at this point. I've been doing this since I was a kid, so it's nothing new.
And as a professional, where are you looking to focus? 135, 145. We know I saw a lot of 145 fights from you as an amateur.
No, I feel good there at 145. I'm going to be continuing to grow, so this weight cut is going to tell me a lot about my body. Either way, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done right at 135. So we could see me at 145 in the future, but for now, 135.
Charles, what is the focus been like in this camp?
Definitely working on my wrestling, but I mean, when have I not worked on my wrestling? Watch out for the overhands, pick them apart with shots. Everything I got, I'm gonna really show you guys what's in my arsenal this time. You're gonna see a lot of volume from me, a lot of good cardio. You're gonna even see me might mix in a takedown or two myself, because he's not the only wrestler. I can wrestle too.
Do you think that's something that might surprise them out there, Oklahoma? They believe it's a different caliber of wrestling in the Midwest.
Oh, they may think it's a different caliber of wrestling in the Midwest, and it is. No disrespect to them, but out here in Albuquerque, this is an MMA fight, you know. So you got to think about that. We're fighters out here, and I'm gonna take that wrestling to the next level, because I've been working with next level wrestlers. Edwin Cooper, Dan Argueta, Mark Hussey, 2-time state champion wrestler, and him, and Dan and Edwin, they're both former college wrestlers, man. There's nobody he's not as good of a wrestler as the guys that we have here, man. Just bottom line. I'm gonna out wrestle him. I'm gonna do what I want to him everywhere in this fight.
What do you do this year? What are the goals? First year as a professional.
I want to get to 2-0 as a professional by the end of the year, 2019. I'm not sure if I can make that happen. Definitely 1-0, but if we could squeeze the second fight in before December, I'd like to do that as well. Just go straight back-to-back camps. And for the overall year, like a year from right now, I see myself being 4-0, 5-0 as a pro. Just keep the train going until I get to the big stage, Bellator, UFC.
Does the minutes mean anything? We're adding 2 more minutes to each round. How has that affected you, affected the camp, affected your training?
A lot more high intensity, you know, a lot more cardio work implemented in my game plans. So 1,000 feet.
Above sea level?
Yeah, above sea level. We're right now at 5,000 feet, I believe. Yeah. 6,000 up in the foothills. So I'm really not too worried about this one, because I'm going to have a good gas tank out there in Missouri. But the 5 minutes really isn't different. I've been training 5-minute rounds here as an amateur my whole career. In the training room, training with pros my first year, all I did was 5 minutes. So it's different, but it's not that different.
Does it feel like you're embarking on a new journey, or does it just feel like you're still doing the same stuff there? We can make a story out of this, but for you actually while training, nothing feels different?
We can make a story out of this, yeah, definitely, but for me, nothing does feel different. We're just keeping the ball rolling. This is just another fight to me, and I feel like that's where a lot of amateurs make the mistake as turning professionals. They put so much more pressure on themselves, but really, it's just another fight to me. This guy has no pro fights. He's coming off his last amateur fight just like me, so just 2 amateurs going at it basically.
And you mentioned it earlier, the last actual fight that you had, not the last MMA fight, but the last fight you had was a boxing match. Jumped in there and grabbed a little bit of amateur experience. What was that like right there?
I took it on less than 24 hours notice, so it was a bit of a surprise to me because I was told there was going to be some light sparring at a boxing gym at first. It was really a USA Boxing Amateur, but it was definitely a good experience. I got to let my hands go, and really my chin got tested a couple times, so we cleaned up those mistakes. But everything seemed good. I still have confidence in my hands, and I came out with my hand raised, so that should tell you it right there.
What happened September 28th, Chris?
First round finish, no cap.